The ocean, a place of beauty and terror. It has swallowed empires, devoured ships, and erased lives without leaving a trace. But among its countless mysteries, one story rises above the rest. A ship drifting in the waters of Southeast Asia. A desperate distress call, filled with words that chilled every sailor who heard them. And when rescuers finally arrived, they discovered something beyond comprehension. The vessel seemed abandoned, and moments later, it was consumed by fire, swallowed by the sea, leaving behind only whispers of its cursed name. The SS Ourang Medan. It was the late 1940s. The Second World War had ended, but its shadows still lingered. Merchant vessels and military patrols crossed the busy shipping lanes of the Strait of Malacca. And then it came. A distress signal in Morse code. The first message sent shivers down the spines of the operators. All officers, including captain, gone. Lying in chart room and bridge. Possibly whole crew. Gone. Moments later, one final transmission. 2 words that would echo forever. I die. And then silence. No more signals. No explanation. Just an invisible presence drifting in the endless sea. The call for help had come from a Dutch freighter few had ever heard of. The SS Ourang Medan. Nearby, the American merchant vessel Silver Star picked up the signal. They changed course immediately, determined to find the source. Hours later, through the haze of the horizon, they saw it. A lifeless silhouette floating on the water. The Ourang Medan, completely still. No flags waving, no crew on deck, just silence, and the weight of something wrong. The Silver Star approached cautiously, calling out through megaphones. No answer. Finally, a boarding party climbed onto the ghostly ship, and what they found is something no sailor could ever forget. The atmosphere was heavy, the decks eerily quiet, as if time itself had stopped. The crew of the Silver Star sensed that something terrible had occurred, but there were no clear signs of what had happened. Every space they entered brought with it the same sensation, a chilling moment, as if the ship itself remembered the final terror. Only one collar and its passengers. Only the ship's dog collar was found, adding to the eerie feeling that something unseen had passed through the ship. Then, the impossible happened. As the Silver Star prepared to tow the Ourang Medan to port, smoke began to rise. At first, just a faint wisp from the lower decks, but soon, thick black clouds erupted, pouring from the cargo hold. The boarding crew scrambled to escape. They cut the tow lines, and in that moment, a violent explosion tore through the ship. The Ourang Medan split apart, engulfed in fire, and within minutes, the vessel sank beneath the waves. All evidence gone. Every clue to the horror aboard, erased by the sea. The only thing left was the memory of what the rescuers had witnessed, and a final, chilling message. I die. Since that day, the Ourang Medan has become one of the ocean's darkest enigmas. A mystery without closure. A ghost story. But one backed by too many details to dismiss. What force silenced the crew? What left their ship abandoned in such unnatural circumstances? And why did the vessel destroy itself before the truth could ever be revealed. Some claim the Ourang Medan was carrying dangerous chemicals, perhaps remnants of the war volatile cargo that may have caused the catastrophe. But others doubt this explanation. Why the strange transmissions? Why the silence of a ship adrift with no survivors? Another theory suggests a supernatural curse. Sailors speak of vengeful spirits that haunt the seas, invisible forces that can strike without warning. Was the ship's crew the victim of something terrifying? And certainly not of this world. Still others whisper of experiments gone wrong, secret military tests, weapons never meant to exist. The Ourang Medan, some say, was no ordinary freighter, but a vessel caught in a web of hidden agendas. And then there are those who believe something far stranger, that the crew witnessed something they should never have seen, something that shattered their resolve and left the ship doomed from that moment on. The truth is lost beneath the waves. No wreck has ever been found. No official record confirms the ship's registry. Some say the entire story is a legend. Others believe it's the most terrifying cover-up in maritime history. But whether myth or reality, one thing is certain. The sea keeps its secrets, and sometimes those secrets claw their way back to the surface, even if only for a moment. The SS Ourang Medan remains a ghost, a shadow drifting in stories and nightmares. A warning that there are things in this world, on land, in the air, and especially in the ocean, that human eyes were never meant to see. A ship without survivors, a final, desperate message, a name whispered in fear, and then fire and silence. The Ourang Medan leaves us with more questions than answers. But perhaps that is the point. Perhaps some mysteries are not meant to be solved. If this story of the sea gave you chills, leave a like to support the channel. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next descent into darkness. By Ship Without Survivors. A final, desperate message. A crew frozen in terror, and then fire and silence. The Ourang Medan leaves us with more questions than answers, because this was only one ghost ship, and there are many more waiting just beneath the waves. A single ship's bell rings, echoing into silence.